Hey everybody, Coach Joe and PDX with my mid-season update on standings in college football. We'll go back to some of the preseason predictions and recap those as well. We're actually going to talk about the American Conference today. We usually show us something, we'll talk in October. Well, they have. The green big monster wave in Tulane, ranked number 25, surprising a lot of people. Came out of nowhere. Biggest prize surprise in the top 25 outside of Tennessee. Also right there, you got Cincinnati Bearcats, which we predicted at the beginning of the season. But mark my words, UCF is going to come out of nowhere. They've only given up 86 points in a year. They're going to play both those teams and beat both of them. Lee Corso's going to be happy with that team down in Orlando that's going to come out of nowhere and do that. In the Atlantic Coast Conference, and by the way, I got my screen here, so I'm peeking just to update myself on where we're talking. Atlantic Coast Conference, you've got to go through Clemson. We said at the beginning of the year, it still stands today. It actually happens this weekend when they play Syracuse. Syracuse has been really tough, but Clemson a whole different deal. On the other side of that coastal ACC is North Carolina. We predicted that at the beginning of the season. They did lose quarterback Sam Howell, but Mac Brown had another quarterback, and we talked about it at the beginning of the season. They're doing well. Expect them to run through that and win that coastal and go to that conference championship. In the Big 12, TCU, Kansas State, both undefeated. Texas, they're looking at third, but they're really not. Oklahoma State is really the third team. Remember what I said at the beginning of the season? Love rooting for Oklahoma State. Love rooting for Michigan State. Want to see those teams come out of their division. Well, one of them has. I think Oklahoma State's going to come out strong there. In the Big Ten, we called it the beginning of the year. It's going to come down to the last game of the year, Michigan at Ohio State. Remember what we said. Harbaugh has been in Michigan for years and years. He's beat Ohio State exactly one time. That was last year at home. Well, guess what? Now he goes on the road. He's going to play at the Big House. At the Shoe, at the Horseshoe. Big Todd and I were there last year. We saw a team beat Ohio State, so it can be done. Of course, that was a really good Ducks team, but Michigan's not going to do it. On the Big Ten West, as my friend Big Todd said, it's a race to the bottom. I don't even know what to say there. I mean, Purdue, Illinois, I don't know. I don't see it. It's got to be somebody. You know what? I think, what is that commissioner's name? Kevin, he's going to contact somebody after the season and say, hey, you're in the Big Ten championship. And they're going to be like, what? We didn't know that was coming. No, because you're horrible. Can't believe you do that. Do it like the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever it is nowadays. Take the two best teams. Those are the teams that you want to see play. You're going to have some like 3-loss team in the Big Ten championship? That's weak. Come on, man. Catch up with the rest of us. Mountain West Conference, nothing to say there. A lot of teams with a lot of losses. Mid-America, nothing to say there. A lot of teams with a lot of losses. Who cares? Pac-12 Conference. I said this recently. UCLA and Oregon both had a bye week. Now they play in Eugene this week at Autzen Stadium. The game day crew will be there. And I said those two teams will be in the Pac-12 championship. And somebody's like, you're forgetting about USC. I'm not. The roadmap is out there on how to beat USC. At the start of the year, I said their line was weak. I'll give a C grade to the offensive line. The defensive line is horrible. Well, now the map is out there. Oregon State had it done for about 58 minutes and lost. They should never have lost that game to USC. USC lost last week. It was the first time we heard from Nevio all season on college football. Yeah, Utah won. Yeah, nice. That's great. We expected that. We picked Utah to win. We actually picked them to win by more. Okay, they only won by 1, but whatever. But here's what's going to happen. UCLA plays at Oregon. They're a 6-point dog because you get 8 or 9 points when you're at Autzen. Okay, so Oregon beats UCLA. UCLA goes to the end of the season, beats USC. The top 2 teams are now Oregon and UCLA again. It's going to be on a neutral site. I think it's in Stanford, like 49er Stadium, whatever that is. And there's no home field advantage for Oregon. Now it's a pick'em game, maybe UCLA by 1 or 2 or something. DRT, that quarterback, I swear he's been there since like 2012. Outstanding quarterback, high percentage rate of completions. You got Chip Kelly. We all love Chip Kelly. Everybody in Oregon loves Chip Kelly. They kind of wanted him back when the job was open recently. UCLA wouldn't do it last year. They actually re-signed him to a contract extension and gave him extensive bonuses. He gets $1 million every December. Can you believe that? Just for being around at UCLA. And that running back, Charbonneau, he led the league last year in rushing. It's not like it's a surprise, but that is a formidable offense. Okay? But this weekend, it's going to be 70, 75 points. I don't know what the over is. Take the over. Whoever gets to 41st wins that game. And again, I think those two teams will be back in the Pac-12 championship. And the SEC East, I said you got to go through Georgia. You still do. Tennessee has been the surprise team of the year. I think they were unranked to start the year. Now they're number 3. How weird is that? You ever see that happen? You don't. Okay? But Tennessee has done it. And the reason is they've got Josh Heupel's got that offense is just crazy. And Hooker can sling it. So Tennessee, they still have to play Georgia, and I still think you have to go through Georgia. By the way, Tennessee still has to play Kentucky. That's a good Stoops Kentucky team. So I wouldn't just go by that one either. So that's going to come down to the end of Georgia, Tennessee. I'm still going with Georgia because that's the way it is, and it's at Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. On the West, you've got Ole Miss, undefeated. They still have to play Bama. Bama's got one loss. But are you going to bet against Bama on that one? Sorry to say it, Philip, but until Ole Miss wins that division, like Michigan did last year, you're just like, I don't see it. You got to prove us wrong, and it's hard to root against Bama. So it's going to come down to that game. I'm still going with Bama. Independence, I really want to touch on Independence briefly. BYU is like 4-3, not what I expected, but they play the toughest schedule in America. They don't play some of those, little sisters of the poor that the SEC plays in October, November. There are some sloops here. Remember, I do this in one take. Here we go. This is it. They're going to say it. But BYU's not what I thought. Notre Dame's exactly what I expected. Remember what I said? Number 5? They're overrated. They're not that team. Well, guess what? They've lost to Stanford and Marshall. Who else has Stanford and Marshall beat in FBS this year? Nobody. They haven't won a game against anybody else. All they want to do is try to schedule Notre Dame every other week, and they can't, unfortunately. Notre Dame, not there. Independence, not there. Embarrassing, actually. The Sun Belt, we're not even going to go there. We're done. We're looking at all the conferences. That's it. That's one take. That's my mid-season update. I'll probably get back right before we get to conference championships, make some predictions there. I think it'll be the teams that we expected, but there might be a surprise or two. Have a great weekend. Enjoy college football.